Well, welcome everybody. Good morning. This is Paul Romero with the Swiss Gold Global Independent Business Owners Network Marketing and really business, life, whatever, open mastermind number 3. We just started doing these a couple of weeks ago. We're here every Thursday, 8 a.m. Arizona time to discuss really anything and everything about business, success, wealth attraction, how to achieve wealth and richness in your life, all of these kinds of things. So I got turned on to a really, really awesome book this morning by my buddy AJ on our Street Smart business success calls that we sit in on every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. And our general hostmaster for those calls, Jeff Hagan, is away on a nice anniversary cruise with his wife, and so having some guests within the group, within the organization, everybody who sits in on the calls offered to have some of the folks replace him as the leader of the calls, and everybody did a great job this week. I believe I'm not sure if somebody's doing one tomorrow or if Jeff is back, but AJ did a great call this morning. Introduced us to a book called The No BS Wealth Attraction in the New Economy. And I tell you what, this by Dan Kennedy, by the way. This book obviously I'm not going to be able to give you an overview of what this book is all about because I haven't read it yet. I can only pass along what AJ gave to us, and I tell you what, this is a book I got to go out and buy and read. And from the sounds of what AJ delivered this morning, you got to go out and buy and read this book. It really confirmed to me some concepts and ideas that I got out of another book that I read earlier in the year by Richard Florida called The Great Reset. And The Great Reset was about, basically what generally happens after an economic downturn, such as the one we experienced in 2008, 9, and 10, and 11. Yeah, pretty much about then, end of 2011, when things starting to pick up again finally. But kind of repetition as far as sequences of events that happen, opportunity that is born, changes that take place, change, amazing amount of change that presents opportunity in this world to build great success and wealth comes after, economic downturn and, recessions and depressions, because these resets, as he writes in the book, The Great Reset, is it signifies a transition in the way the economy and the business world works, and what the core focus of future success is built around. For instance, transitioning out of the agricultural era into the industrial era, and from like the industrial era to more of the consumerism era, and now really transitioning from our glut of consumerism and transforming into more of a service-based education and information kind of a creative era. And the economies today are, the old economy is gone. It's dead. It's not coming back. And unfortunately, I feel that the message being delivered to the masses is, hey, everything's the same. Nothing has changed. We had a little glip, a little hitch in the giddy up there, had a problem, things collapsed, but we're putting it all back together, and we're putting it all back together exactly the same way as it was before. So have no fear, go on doing all those things that you were doing before, which I feel, and you might feel differently, others might feel differently. I don't know, this is kind of sketchy ground, I guess, but you know, everybody wants to believe that, even the quote, professionals, the people who are supposed to know for us, all that kind of a thing, because it's easy. It's what they know. A lot of people don't want to change. So, in order to avoid having to change and transition into what is new and what is coming, it's easier just to promote the fact that it's all still the same and continue, bringing your business to us because, we've always done it this way. You're used to it always being done this way. And here it is, we're still giving it to you this way. When in actuality, in my mind, a lot of that is a setup for another massive failure. And if you don't understand that the old economy is dead, it's gone, and that the new economy is here and building, and that if you don't change and adapt to what that newness is, that you're going to get crushed. There's going to be a problem that's going to just, all of a sudden you're going to wake up one day and go, what happened? Where did everything go? How did things change so drastically? And they didn't change drastically. They changed a little bit at a time, day by day. But it's happening right now, right in front of our very eyes. And most people just put up the blinders to it and just go, oh, it's all the same. I can just go on doing what I did before. So this book that AJ brought to attention this morning, the No BS Wealth Attraction in the New Economy, really sort of, brings to light even further and solidifies kind of those concepts of, of the change, of the transition period that we're going into right now. And he talked about, and I guess even the book even talks about how the old economy is gone forever. That there are still some tried and true old strategies, business strategies, and things like that, that yes, will always sort of be applicable to, whatever it is that you endeavor to advance in, but that today's world, the business needs to be more agile and more free flowing and more open, more sharing, more co-opetition, more just a whole different persona within the business that yes, still holds on to some tried and true base core elements of business. But as far as the exposure to the world and how you present your product and all those things, that's where the transition is, and that's where really a lot of focus needs to be placed in your opportunity that you're presenting to people or your business or whatever the case might be. He talked about, I guess, he kind of talked about, I guess the book kind of talks about about the transition that we're going through and what things were prior to this, great depression. I'm not going to pull any punches. There's no freaking recession here. This is a freaking depression. So I'm not pulling any punches, and I'm going to call a spade a spade. So after this Great Depression that we've really just gone through and now are supposedly coming out of, the book sort of sets that up as to what we were, where we were going, and what sort of happened with how we've seen so many businesses. I guess he makes a joke of like Starbucks. There's just Starbucks everywhere, and how Starbucks is opening Starbucks in Starbucks bathrooms now. And then how there's so many people cross cross-pollinating, so to speak, in their businesses, where Starbucks is now serving, egg sandwiches, and McDonald's is now serving, gourmet coffees and things like that, and where you have a McDonald's on the corner here, and then across the street opens up a Jack in the Box, and then half a block down the road opens up a Burger King, and then right around the corner opens up a and there's all this competition right within um, in your face kind of a competition thing going on, and how salesmanship and customer service really just suffered through all of this, and there was no focus on pleasing anything pleasing to the customer. It was just pound, pound, pound. You got to spend, you got to buy kind of a mentality, and where credit was obviously given away to people who really shouldn't have had credit, and that the whole customer service thing was really just a big charade. And then obviously like I said, all of this sort of leading up to depression. And so he talks about how obviously bringing to your attention a little bit more about think back, look at what was, look right now in front of you at what you're facing and what's going on and what's changing. And kind of some of the things that he talks about changing were the break. Oh yeah. Thinking strategies, and actions and behaviors. That to me really is the core. The thinking strategies, and more, not necessarily the actions themselves. Yes, I mean, you have to take action in order to have success. You can't just sit in the middle of your living room every day and meditate going, oh, universe, deliver me good stuff. That's not going to drop wealth and richness into your life, but it might make you feel good. But hope one day that roof's going to go away because you're not going to be paying your mortgage and they're going to repo your house. So action does have to be taken, and the way you behave, during the course of your actions that's a key element of the change now too. So to me, the thinking about the actions that need to be taken, because the actions are different now, with social media and the internet and all of that stuff that's going on out there. If you're going to focus, a marketing campaign into a newspaper, advertising campaign, well, hey, that's great, but you better not rely on that. You better look at something else. Okay. Nobody's buying and reading newspapers anymore. I mean, they practically give them away on the street corners. There's hardly any newspapers that are actually sold anymore. There's not too many newspapers that are being delivered to driveways any longer. So, like I said, so the thinking about your actions and what it is that you're doing, what you used to do and what you should be doing now, that's the key element, is what's the thinking, and then the thinking of your behaviors as well too. And I think this really relates especially to the customer service aspect that we've sort of, turned our back to prior to the crash here, and that, that is really the key element. Delivering your message to the right people in the right way is probably never been more important than it is now, because markets are so niche market, and there's so much availability of everything these days that your message and your behaviors and who you are and what you're building and all of that really needs to be spot on. And they talked about three kind of a key difference from before to now is the mindset of breaking this work equals money link, where you really have to, the only way to do this is to work. And that's really what boils down into this book, more about the attraction of wealth, rather than going out there and nose to the grindstone in order to build it, as is more of the attraction of wealth in this new economy, where just your positioning. And he talks about three main aspects being the philosophical, the strategic, and the behavioral. And again, that sort of goes back to what I was just talking about: the thinking, the actions, and the behaviors. And the philosophical being, basically you can think and act and do things, one of two ways. In one way, you're going to repel wealth and richness, and the other way, you're going to attract wealth and richness. Richness. And then the strategic part kind of being more of the action and positioning yourself, practical positioning of your business and yourself in the marketplace. And like I said, this applies more to the actions that you be taking and doing in order to make things happen. And the final one, obviously, again, being the behavior. And again, now, especially more than ever, one of two behaviors: that which repels wealth and richness, and that which attracts it. So all real cool stuff. To me, I'm 100% on board with this, because this is, a major transition. There's a section in the book where he goes through, I think AJ said something like 22 wealth magnets. He got into talking about two of them, one being no guilt, and another one being, I think, your belief in abundance. And the no guilt just being that, losing all the concepts of, not enough to go around, and if I take too much, someone else is going to suffer, and everybody gets their fair share. There's no fair share. Whatever you can get, you need to feel that you are deserving of it. That you have no fear in pricing of your product, that you're not reluctant. You have no inhibition, and you don't pull any punches when delivering the value of your product or service. I mean, you have valuable product and service, and you need to understand that and just deliver it. And people are going to see the value in it, and they're going to want the value in it, or they're not. And that's basically what it boils down to. And believing in the abundance that's available out there. I mean, if you want wealth and richness in your life, you have to really believe that there's plenty of it out there for everyone, and there really, really, truly is. I mean, and one of the best ways to do that, to understand that, is to start hanging around people who kind of, also believe in that, and maybe even have that, and look at, because I mean, if you're hanging around with people that believe that there's not enough to go around, and sort of a thing, that sort of a mentality, then obviously you're going to be trapped within that. And all of this stuff kind of comes down to a lot of other concepts that I've been learning recently in the past couple of years. I'm definitely making a major life transition, especially in my thinking about how the world and business and success and the universe and everything works in harmony and in togetherness, and which is why we're holding a mastermind here. And please, people, come and join in here. You don't have to be in network marketing. You don't have to be in anything. Bring anything you want. Let's get out here. This is a great opportunity to provide service. People need this information. This is open to all of us who are in business and who have these beliefs that we are delivering value, and that we are entrepreneurs, and that we want to do good for the world, and that there is abundance, and that we deserve a share of it, that we are worthy. All of us kind of people. This is an opportunity for all of us to come here, mastermind about these ideas and concepts, and discuss some problems that you might be having, whatever the case might be, in any business whatsoever. It does not have to be network marketing, and really help get this message out to the masses, who anybody who is here watching these hangouts, to sort of understand that anyone can do this and everyone is deserving and we are all worthy, and that it's something that you just have to start and believe in, and just take some action and go forward. It's really all that simple. And you know like I was saying earlier, I mean, a lot of different concepts that I'm working on with myself is, number one, who do you listen to? And that goes back to the book right here that I was just talking about, Believing in Abundance. And, not only who do you listen to, who are you hanging around with, because, I mean, obviously if you're hanging around with them, you're listening to them. And, the old saying, misery loves company. So, I mean, if you're hanging around with complainers, um, it's not going to be very easy for you to not jump right in and just complain alongside with them, but if you're hanging around with believers and people who have depth of vision and can see forward, forward thinkers and people like that, it's not going to be difficult, or it's not going to be very easy for you not to join into that conversation as well too, and be part of that positive attitude opposed to a negative attitude. So, like we said, there's two sorts of behaviors that, one that repels wealth and riches, and one that attracts wealth and richness. And, hanging around with blamers and complainers is certainly a behavior that repels, whereas hanging around with positive forward thinkers is a behavior that attracts. So, what you're doing in your life and all of that is a major part of where you are today. So, this is an awesome book. I've never read it, and I know it's an awesome book. And I'm going to go out and actually, I have a schedule today. I have 2 other books on my list that I want to go buy, and one I'm already reading with an online version. But I like reading opening the actual book and reading it physically in my hand. That's more, I don't know, I get more out of that than reading something, on the computer screen here. But right now I wanted to get into that book, so I'm doing that. And but there's another book that I want to read, and now this one is one that I definitely want to read because, like I said, I believe that what's in this book sort of, for me, solidifies the general concept of this great reset that I got out of that book, The Great Reset by Richard Florida. And if you're in a place right now that you're believing status quo, everything's okay, go back to normal, I would highly suggest you go pick up a copy of The Great Reset and read it. And then, just out of blindness here, I'm going to highly suggest you grab a copy of this No BS Wealth Attraction in the New Economy, and read that right afterwards as a backup, a support system to that. And so, again, please come join me on these masterminds. A single mastermind is great, and I believe that what's in here is worthy of sharing with all of you. But I'm 100% believer in the mastermind, in that if I get one other person right here on this, get your face down here on this picture. Oh, there we go. That's a better way to do it. So we're back here. Yeah, get somebody else's face on the screen here, and let's have a conversation that the ideas of one mind are built upon by the ideas of a second mind, which can generate ideas which are 3 times as strong as one mind can generate. And you add a third mind to that, and it just grows exponentially. So we get a couple of faces on this hangout. I would love to have anybody out there join me, everybody out there join me. Thursdays, 8 a.m. Arizona time. Let's deliver to the masses quality information to help turn this around, so that so many people aren't out there suffering, wondering what the heck's going on and how the heck can I change this situation. there's plenty of you guys out there I know that believe in and have the abundance that we need to be showing and sharing to other people. So come here and let's do that. This is not about us so much. I mean, we're going to gain, obviously, a lot from this. Like I said, the mastermind, the power of the ideas that we can build upon. But, it's part of our duty, so to speak, to come here and share this with others so others can see and start to believe in the abundance that's available to them, that they too can get out here and make a difference and build a wealthy, rich life. And like I said, I prefer not to use riches. I prefer to use richness. A life full of richness is something that we are all achieving to have, and here is all of us helping others outside of the mastermind to be able to buy into the idea. I mean, so many people are not even in tune with the possibilities, and so just take that one small little change to get somebody to go from impossible to believing that something is possible is a huge step forward. So again, come on, join me here Thursdays, 8 a.m. Arizona time. Let's mastermind, let's change the world, let's make this a better place. And I welcome all of you to come and join me here and bring whatever you want to talk about. This is open. And right now I'm cutting off at about 26 minutes here. If we get some more people on Thursdays, I'm open to letting this run. I can't let it run all day, but I mean, I'm open to letting this run definitely longer and longer. We get into a nice discussion of value and quality discussion of value to others. Will certainly not be shutting us off with any time frame. So come on in, bring what you want to talk about, and I hope to see you all next Thursday. You'll have the invites. Maybe I should try sending them out sooner. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how this whole Google Plus thing works and the Hangout things. I'm not a tech wizard. This is kind of low budget stuff here. I realize that, but I think we're delivering quality and value that is worthy of our time and effort. So see you guys next Thursday. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. All those who like what you heard today, give me a 1+ or a yes, and I'll add you to the group and give you that will allow you to receive an invite to join next week. Really, that's we'll join you, sign you up in the 1+ and yeses group that I have, and you can join in and receive an invite and come here and join and bring your concepts and ideas and questions and let's help each other. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.